What's up guys? For today's video, I'm installing a wireless anchor system on the Jon Boat. I was inspired by this idea from another Jon Boat that I was looking at purchasing at one point, and I thought, what a great idea to have an electric winch for your anchor. So the only difference that I'm doing is I'm going with a wireless setup, so I'll be able to use it from the back of the boat. The anchor system that I'm going to be setting up here is using part of an AnchorMate manual anchor system. This is the front pulley that gets attached to the front of the boat here, like that. The actual anchor hangs from below it, and then the winch is going to pull it up and down. To get things started, the first thing I want to do is repaint the pulley that came with the boat into white to match it. All right, with the coating of enamel on here, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at our anchor and see what we can get started. For the anchor, I decided to go with a mushroom anchor. Grappling hook style anchor was getting stuck on logs and rocks a lot, so I'm hoping that this will kind of help with that. I went with a 3,000 pound X-Bull winch. I got this on Amazon. It was less than 100 bucks for it, and it comes with a wireless controller. This here is our mounting plate, cable guides. This looks like our control box. Here's our remote, a bag of bolts, a hook. So here's controls, here's manual controls, and then our winch. It's a nice heavy duty winch, 3,000 pounds, should be more than enough to handle the anchor. I think the very first thing I should do is replace this line with the nylon, because that's gonna make routing everything much easier for testing. I'm gonna try to just pull this off, being in the open position. Okay, now how do we get this out? Looks like there's a set screw here that holds the cable in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and back this screw out and see if the cable comes out nice and easy. All right, so that gets the old cable out. I'm gonna try and thread the new nylon rope through the same hole, see if we can get that locked in place. All right, well, there we go. Not bad. Looks like I had just enough line to fill this. I could maybe put a couple more feet on here. All right, well, I got the paint drying on this now, so we can go ahead and get this installed. I think it came out really good. Looks nice and clean. All right, well, I got this bolted on. This top rail is actually way too tight here to really even get my fingers in, let alone thread bolts. I'd use a magnet and thread the magnet through the hole, pick up the bolt, and then pull the bolt through the hole, and then add the lock nuts on the top. Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, but I got it on there. I think it looks really good in white. It really blends in with the whole look here. All right, so I have the line routed down through here, and I have some extra line here. I'm gonna go ahead and tie off a Palomar knot onto the anchor. All right, so you pull a loop through, tie off a knot, and then with the loop that you've created with that knot, and you have your knot. To let the spool free spin, you have to pull this little plunger right here, which unlocks the spool. I don't want this to be hard to reach or get to. But what I think I'm gonna do is mount it in pretty much this location. As long as I have enough room for the plunger to come out, this will allow me to route the wiring from the battery in the front bench along the side, under the front storage hatch here, and pretty much come up right between the seam over here and connect to the leads. So I was pretty happy with this location. I'm trying to mount this so the center of the spool is directly center of the line coming off. That way it evenly goes back and forth as it winds up. All right, with the winch bolted down, I'm gonna go ahead and start routing the wires. All right, so to mount the control box, since this wood is so thin, I don't want to drive any screws up from the bottom. So what I think I'm going to do is use this industrial strength Velcro. I've used this stuff before and it is strong. As you can see, it says here it holds up to 10 pounds. That's very true. This stuff can hold at least that. This is nowhere near even a pound. So this will actually be more than enough strength to go ahead and affix this to the top of the roof here. The other side of the Velcro, I've already put that up there. So what I'm gonna do now is cut a piece to fit the back of the control box and then just stick it up Velcro style. And that should keep that in place. So if you can see here, this is where I have this stapled to. I was actually trying to pull it off to show you, but it's gonna be pulling the staples off. The Velcro is so strong. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this nice and Velcroed here. This will be staying in place until I decide to rip those staples out. All right, well, I'm really happy with this. This looks like a totally clean install. Now I feel like it's time to go ahead and try it out. The way this works wirelessly is you have your controller here. You hold the two buttons to connect to your winch. It turns red, you're connected. And now when I push in, here's hoping it starts reeling in. There we go. Now it looks a little over spooled on the line right now, but that's because this is a very loose roll. Most of this was rolled with the weight on the ground. I gotta say, this is pretty awesome. Best part, it works from all the way back here by the back seat. Here, check this out. Now the only thing I'm gonna need to do is like paint the rope or something like that, so I know how my maximum withdrawal is. I don't want this, this could probably snap this rope if this gets caught up in here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start painting the rope just a different bright color, you know, right about along here where I start to see it. And then as soon as I see color, I'll know that I'm good to stop. All right, we're out here on the lake and it's time to try out the anchor. We're sitting about 17 foot down. I'm seeing a whole bunch of underwater brush, a nice little point here. We pulled the pin, it dropped to the bottom, locked it back in place, and now we're anchored. So now when it's time to pull in, we'll go ahead and try the reel in feature. But we have now finished fishing this area here. The anchor worked great. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it in and see how we go. I've also color marked the end of the anchor rope. So once I see it starting to turn blue, that means we're getting close. And when I see it turning red, that means we're at the end point. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pull it in. And there you go. The wireless anchor winch works perfect. I am so happy with the way that came out. All right, guys. Well, if you found this helpful, let me know by hitting that like button. I had some links in the description if you guys want to check out the winch yourself. I got some cool things coming up for the Jon Boat. I did some testing with the jack plate. We're still on the fence with that, so a little bit more work to do there. But overall, everything's working out really well. All right. Thanks for watching.